Good evening and welcome to Blue Suede News. We'll be reviewing the good, the bad and the utterly stupid of the last 7 days. As usual, this is a live show, so if you're watching the show, please say hello and please feel free to comment throughout the show as we are interactive. I'd like to welcome our guest panellists. We have the Scottish Falsetto Sock Theatre.
Hello, hello.
We have Alex English.
Hello.
And we have Big D Archer.
Hello,
Welcome
everyone.
to Blue Suede News. I'm going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves formally. So we'll start with the Scottish Falsetto Socks.
Hello, we are the Scottish Falsetto Sock Puppet Theatre, and so am I, and so is he. And we can entertain in every genre of entertainment. We do theatre. Do you like a bit of theatre, anybody? Not a theatre crowd. We're not a theatre crowd tonight. We do film. Do you like a bit of film? Are you sure they understand the word film? Of course they understand the word film. Film is the Scottish word for film. There's not another word for it. We could do romantic films. We could do action films. We could do horror films. I love a horror film. Do you? I would go anywhere to see a Hitchcock. Psycho? No, I usually walk. Enjoy the show, everybody.
Thank you very much. Lord Sparkle says he thinks it's going to be a successful show.
Well done.
So, Big D, do you want to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name's Big D Archer. It's brilliant to be here, Roger. Hello, everyone in the group. It's going to be really fun tonight. I'm a comedian based down in mid Wales, traveling all over the country, gigging, and looking forward to returning. I'm also a promoter in Hereford, and look out for more gigs soon.
Thank you very much. We've also got Brian Slack watching the show. He says hi.
Oh, hi.
So, and Alex, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. My name's Alex. In the daytime, I'm an administrator, and by night, I'm a gig reviewer for Planet Mosh. And so I do news and reviews and stuff for bands, and I can't wait for the gig scene to get back up and running again.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. So I'd like to thank all my guests for joining me. I just want to remind my guests, if they don't already know, that on this show, I don't give points out because on this show, points mean sod all.
What? Well then. Okay.
So, okay. And I would like to say a big hello to our viewers and a special hello to the viewers who have already supported this show by using the Buy Me a Coffee link and purchased a coffee for our guests and myself. Any coffees bought will be shared amongst the guests equally and myself. And that's the link for Buy Me a Coffee. If you want to find that link at any point in time, it's within the comments already. So, and we've got Gary D. Phillips saying, evening from Scotland, Montrose, but originally Dunblane.
Hello,
So,
Gary.
good evening, Gary. It's nice to be, broadcasting to the United Kingdom here. So, let's get the first round underway.
What are they up to now?
This is the What Are They Up To Now round, slightly different from our normal first round, but you'll get the idea when I start looking at what we're doing. So basically, I'm going to be asking, what are the people in the government up to now? So let's find out who we're going to talk about first. So who's it going to be? Oh, it not Boris. No. Oh, education guy. I can't remember his name. It's not Priti Patel. Oh, that's Sumak. Oh, Hancock. Oh, Boris. No, it's not Boris. Oh, it's Rishi Sunak. And who's this? It's David Cameron at Greenshill Capital Bank. So, do any of my guests know what these two have been up to?
Yeah, I think the Greenshill Capital have been in the news because their logo looks like a drawing of a cock and balls. Are we the only people who can see that?
Yes.
Genuinely, I mean, putting them too close to David Cameron, it's hard to tell the two apart. And down there, you can see the pencil that drew it. We're basically looking at a graffiti crime scene here. And David Cameron has also been accused of lobbying when he should have been jobbying. I don't think that's what he should have been doing. He has been lobbying in an inappropriate fashion. Overarm, yeah, probably overarm, yeah.
So, this is a story about David Cameron being hired as a consultant for Greensill Bank or Capital, whatever they are, who are now a failed company. And they're after some loans from the government, in respect to COVID. And he messaged directly to the Chancellor asking if there was anything the government could do to help secure these loans. Have you heard about any of this, Big D, or?
No, this is way above me. This is. I honestly thought they were introducing a new rap album or something. This is just nah.
That would be Professor Greensill you were thinking of there.
Hey, well done.
Okay, so that's the first inappropriate behaviour. Cameron's been messaging Rishi direct, asking for money for Greensill.
And as has been observed by many people, once upon a time, this is the sort of thing that people would have to resign from cabinet for. He's inappropriately described what he's been doing to the register of whatever they register themselves as, and he's been reprimanded. And Labour tried to get a proper, what do they call it, committee and investigation against them, but of course they don't have the votes, so they were ruled out. And it would appear that nothing will be done.
Does anyone know the name of the person who owns Greensill?
Oh, he's an Australian, isn't it? Is it Dame Edna Everage?
No, it is.
Kylie Minogue. Crocodile Dundee. We've got many.
Is it
Lex Greensill?
Greensill, yeah.
Lex Greensill. Now, it's going to be dodgy. Well, first of all, for Dodgy Dave being involved, and also if the owner's called Lex. I mean, it's a bit like Superman's arch villain, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a good job I got an A in front of my name then, isn't
it? Joey C, if anyone else is involved. Right, so who we're going to pick on next? Oh, Boris. That's him in the education department. I can't remember his name off. Priti Patel. Rishi and Matt. Oh, Boris. But Boris is stuck up.
Boris.
Oh, it's David Cameron. So, shall I tell you the sordid details of? I've picked Boris here because it's actually Downing Street, and I'll tell you the sordid details of this story, right? Because this one's a bit more subtle, and I had to dig around for this. I love how all this has come out during the week when Prince Philip has died. And I imagine the government's been trying to bury it by being very pro Prince Philip. Anyway, on Thursday, Downing Street defended the Conservative peer, Frances Maude. Now, this is a bit involved, so stick with this. Frances Maude is implementing changes in Whitehall for Boris Johnson. Maude runs his own consultancy firm, which he set up with Boris Johnson's Deputy Chief of Staff, Simon Finn. Simon Finn recruited a guy called Bill Crothers to the Cabinet Office during the Cameron administration. That's why I've still got David Cameron on the screen. Can you see how all this is linking together? And Bill Crothers, whilst he, has contracted to work for Frances Maude Associates after leaving the Cabinet, after leaving the civil service, but before he left the civil service, you'll never guess who he took a part-time advisory role with whilst he worked at the civil service. He took a part-time advisory role with a company. Do any of you know which company that is?
Is it Cock and Balls Financing?
It's Greensill Capital, also known as Cock and Balls Financing.
Cock and Balls?
That all sounds a bit like a cock and bull story, but as you can see, all this is intertwined with itself. They all know each other. They're all appointing each other to different jobs. And it's all
Roger, are you telling me the Conservative Party have done something wrong?
Possibly.
Oh my God!
Allegedly.
Roger's pieced it all together, you see. It's like
That's amazing.
move over Columbo. It's Poulter investigations.
Columbo.
Do
Roger, do a Columbo impression.
do you want to see
Just wait 1 second.
who else may have been up to something? Shall we see?
Go on.
Okay. So who have we got now?
This could be a brilliant game of whack-a-mole.
Now, who's it going to be? Oh, we've got Matt Hancock. Oh, I've got David Cameron up there as well.
Oh, hello.
Poor Cameron, he's getting a beasting today, isn't he?
Right. Matt Hancock has appeared in the news twice this week because, as well as having a private drink with Lex Greensill, you might recognise that name, and David Cameron, he also has been criticised because a company in which him and his sister own shares has won contracts from the NHS in Wales. Thought you might be interested in this, Big D.
Good for them.
Right. This company in Wales has won £300,000 worth of business from the NHS. Right. Mr. Hancock owns 15% of the shares in that company.
Okay.
Any
What
views
do
on
they
that,
do?
Big D?
What do they actually do? What's the
They
company?
specialise in secure storage, shredding, and scanning of documents.
It's a vital role.
I think there's
You tell me a better
comma
way.
needed there. Secure storage, comma, shredding. Because secure storage and then shredding things is shit. If I give you my stuff to store and you shred it, you're not earning all of your 300 grand, frankly. Mind you,
It also seems the wrong way round because it seems the wrong way around because secure storage, shredding, and scanning of documents. Surely you don't do it in that way round.
Brilliant.
Many the time we said we're in the wrong business, and when you realise what can be earned for basically offering this government things that don't work, billions you can get, billions. You should just invest something with a comma and an ampersand, track and trace, shred and burn, spit and swallow, anything.
Oh, yeah. We're getting political advice off a pair of socks here. They're making sense.
They're making more sense than the current government.
They are.
So, anyway, are we bored with cronyism?
Well, yeah, because we're not earning hundreds of thousands of pounds out of it.
So,
I think Matt Hancock drew that Greensill logo. It's a self-portrait.
So, Lord Sparkles has come up with a good one here. He says, bury the news. No, bury Prince Philip. So, anyway, what we'll do, we'll take our little journey onto the next round.
Faking it.
This is the Faking It round. I'm going to present each of you with a story. It's very simple. All you have to do is tell me whether it's a factual story or whether it's fake news. So it'll either be a real story or one I've made up. So fact or fake news. So who shall we go to first? Oh, we'll go Big D.
Yes.
Are you ready, Big D?
Yes.
Oh, I've not selected my slide properly. New Brazilian Christ statue bigger than Rio's. The new statue is being built at Encantado and will be 140 feet high. It'll be taller than the one in Rio. but only the third tallest Jesus Christ statue in the world?
It's pretty impressive. It looks like God is playing a game of Jenga and winning. But I mean, it looks real. I mean, the photo looks pretty real. How much have they spent on this? You know that?
No, I ain't got a clue.
Yeah,
It's
I
only
reckon
going to be in
it's
some
real.
sort of foreign currency, so we'd never understood. It's all in scudos. Could be $1 billion scudos, and that's 37 quid.
It probably costs
it looks-
a lot.
It's something plausible in that type of country. They like their big statues. You know, I mean, it is a very big. I mean, if I was living across the road from it, it'd be a bit of an eyesore. But yeah, I think it's real. It's a true story.
So you're saying fact.
Fact.
Let's see whether you're right or not. You are quite right. It's the
Brilliant.
tallest. Well, it's the third tallest. Well, it's going to be the third tallest Christ statue in the world. The tallest Christ statue is the Jesus Buntu Baraki statue in Sulawesi, Indonesia, or something along those lines. Okay. Like I said, this statue is 140 feet high, which is about 30 odd meters high, this Christ statue that's being built. If you want to know how that ranks on the world statue front, what we have is the Christ Redeemer in Brazil, which is the one on the very right, is 39.6 meters. So the picture I showed you before is slightly bigger than that. The biggest statue, so think the one over Rio is 39.6 meters.
Yeah.
There's the Statue of Unity in Gujarat, India, which is 182 meters high.
That's my granddad. I tell you what, well, he spent some time in there, so that makes sense. Oh, that's amazing.
That is a very tall statue. I mean, you can see how tall it is compared to the Statue of Liberty, about halfway down.
Statue of Liberty is positively piddling.
Right. I'm going to go to the Scottish Falsetto Socks next. Are you ready for your story?
Oh, God, yeah, fire away. We cannot wait.
Lucy Berkeley, 27, from Nuneaton, has obtained an injunction from her ex-husband for constantly sending her game requests. She received up to 300 Candy Crush requests a day, and an injunction against her ex-husband sending her requests has been granted by Coventry Magistrates Courts. She said, "I could have blocked him, but I didn't want to for the sake of the children. We use Facebook to arrange their visits."
Well, not only does it sound like fake news, it doesn't sound like news. I mean, do people still invite people to play Candy Crush? If they do, then they deserve to be a headline or a note in the history books. I'm going to put this down. What are you going to say? I'm going to say the same as you, obviously. Oh, yes. Yeah, we're going to say a fake.
Ooh, shall we see whether you're right or not? I am doing abysmally bad tonight.
You can block game requests on Facebook. So yeah, so I thought that was fake.
Well, here comes yours, Alex.
Thank you.
Yorkshire's largest ever dinosaur print discovered on the coast. Mary Woods was collecting shellfish on the Yorkshire coast when she made the discovery of this dinosaur print, and attempts are being made to recover the print, and it is likely to be displayed in a museum in Scarborough.
In Scarborough? So she's just discovered this dinosaur print, and then what? That they're going to lift it and take it away from its place, and then display it in Scarborough.
That's what the story seems to say.
So was it like discovered in Scarborough then?
I've got no
did you
information
say?
on that.
Oh, I'm just asking because obviously you said, "Oh, it's going to go to Scarborough." I think I saw something on this the other day. I think I did. I'm trying to remember because obviously when you see a lot of news, you forget. It looks a pretty decent photo.
Come on, Alex.
I'm
You got
always,
this.
I'm always like, oh, I don't know. It's I'm just gonna say it's probably true. I'm gonna say it's true.
Let's find out whether you're right or not.
We all beat you
for
tonight.
Yeah, I've had a shocking night with that. So I was hoping you hadn't seen anything about that one. I was trying to catch you up by doing a Yorkshire one and praying that you hadn't seen it.
I had seen a print, but I don't think I'd seen the lady's face. So that's what threw me. And I thought, is that an actual, woman to go with the story?
Or is
And
it
then I
something
thought-
I've photoshopped?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you love your Photoshop.
So let's. Well, I haven't got any comments. So what we'll do, we'll move. Seeing I'm miserable now. I hate losing. I hate losing.
Oh,
But I'm not going to
You're
give any of you any points because points on this show mean sod all.
sod all. You'll have to get your sad trombone out, Roger.
Brilliant.
I had something
There you
completely
go.
over in my head when he said that. Come on, Roger, get your sad trombone out.
Let's move on to the next
I'm not going to
round.
follow that up.
Prat of the week.
In this round, each of my guests have nominated a Prat of the Week. I'll reveal the first Prat and tell you who nominated them, and that guest will then get 45 seconds to justify their nomination. Once all three guests have justified their nominations, I'll then adjudicate as to who the Blue Suede News Prat of the Week is. So here's the first Prat of the Week. Oh, would help if I put it on the screen. Let's this is Lewis Wise, and he's been nominated by Big D Archer. So Big D, your 45 seconds starts now.
So Lewis Wise, this year tried an experiment on how to cook a chicken in a different way. His idea was using kinetic energy to slap a chicken so many times, transferring the heat to cook it. Now, he did this over a 2-month period and building a machine that would hit the chicken in the right spot again and again without pulverizing it. And it would take over 135,000 slaps to cook the chicken, right? 2 months of his life he spent trying to find a new way to cook a chicken, and he failed, basically. It took him 8 hours to get the chicken up to about 50 degrees. He basically spent his summer beating his meat.
Let's oh
yes. Thank you.
So let's show a quick highlight of the video.
To hit the chicken harder and harder, thereby accelerating its pulpification. What we need is a rig that can slap really, really fast without hitting the chicken all that hard, which means making a paddle that allows for adjustable slap depth. Find that cooking a chicken requires a minimum of approximately 135,000 slaps, and that over the course of the 6 to 8 hour process, the Meat Beater 9001 would consume around 7,500 watt-hours of energy, or about 2 to 3 times as much as your oven would while making a typical roasted chicken.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
He's not a pheasant plucker. He's a twat. He's a disgrace.
Yes! 2 months of your life wasted.
Yeah. His name is Wise, and I'm not so sure.
Yeah. Can you imagine it? A student. If you would tell, I've just heard about a student. He spent the past 2 months of his life in his room beating his meat. They would totally agree. It's a normal thing to do. But an absolute prat.
I've got to say, why would you want to find this method to cook a chicken?
Maybe it's preventative. Maybe it's every student is being warned, if you beat it 135,000 times, it'll catch fire.
True.
I mean, maybe he's providing a service for someone whose oven's broke, and if they get a chicken, you can imagine Mr. Bean doing it, whacking a chicken on a desk.
I could definitely see audiences tuning in to watch Delia Smith just slapping her meat, and we would watch that. Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
So, after the slapped chicken, who's going to be the next nomination? Oh, this looks like someone in Leeds. He's lost a hand. This is a handless teenager as nominated by Alex English. Your 45 seconds starts now.
Okay, well, this story starts out as not very pleasant because this teenager was attacked by a gang and they used a machete to chop off his hand, which is obviously not a very nice experience to go through. But while he was being seen to by the paramedics, obviously very distraught and distressed and screaming and in shock at the loss of his hand, he shouted out to the paramedics, "How am I going to have a fucking wank now?" So, which I thought was a really prattish thing to say, but obviously he was in shock. But what I should have done is I should have nominated the newspaper that actually ran the story for their sleazy repertoire of a headline, to sell a story.
I mean, the one thing I'll say is the obvious answer, with your other hand.
With your other hand, you got to hand it to him.
Oh, this is priority for young men. This is.
It is.
What am I going to wank with now?
Yeah, exactly. An 18-year-old. So yeah, that's his first thought.
He can probably get a lot of sympathy off the ladies that he's lost a hand and he needs help.
He could borrow the chicken battering machine, slapping machine.
Yes.
Do the Scottish socks have any views on wanking?
Do you know what amazingly it was something we were trying to avoid?
Oh,
There's quite a history
Roger.
amongst many of our cousins of being misused in that regard.
Oh.
So, okay, Gary. By the way, I'll just put some viewers' comment on. Gary D. Phillips says, "I cry foul on the idea." Oh, should I give him a rim shot or a sad trombone?
Sad trombone.
Sad trombone. There we go. Oh, Lord Sparkle says 2 wank prats so far.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've had 2 wanks in a rim shot. I didn't think it was that.
So let's see what the third prat of the week is. This is every viewer who watches Line of Duty, as nominated by the Scottish Falsetto Socks.
Indeed,
Your 45 seconds starts now.
Everybody who's still watching Line of Duty, despite the evidence to the contrary. We spoke to somebody the other day who has FOMO, which is just what Line of Duty needs, another acronym. If you MIT, OCG, AC12, with abbreviations, you'd think they'd get it over and done with quicker, but they've even got things like CHIZ, It's like somebody's been reading Molesworth. It sounded like jizz thrown off a building. I was thinking, is this Grayson's Art Club or what? The worst thing is that the people who are watching this, that does include us. Even though it's just an acronym spouting plot device explaining character-free jizz-flinging parody of its former self, you still want to know what happened when you fell asleep in the last episode and forgot to rewatch it afterwards. If anyone does know, could you blink it to us in Morse code? That would be great. Oh, you're kidding. We 45 seconds.
So,
Line and Duty couldn't do that.
So I think, to be quite honest, when you started saying jizz or jazz or whatever it was, I thought I would talk about wanking again.
we were literally going into territory that has been thumbed over before.
So are you a fan of Line of Duty, or do you actually hate it? Or...
We were fans, but the first series is exemplary. The second series is not bad. The third series starts to get a bit silly. The fourth series, come on. The fifth series, really, there's no part of the original Line of Duty that is left. And what series are we on now? It feels like the 9th or 10th, but it isn't. And that is the problem with Line of Duty. It is ever so slightly a skeleton, a ghost, a shadow, a Xeroxed copy, one for the kids there, of what Line of Duty originally was. Jed Mercurio is a fine writer, but it would be quite nice if he wrote something else with characters in this time. Oh, that would be great. That would be great. Original characters.
Like a pair of socks.
People who deliver exposition at each other's faces.
So I know my friend Alex Leam agrees with that people shouldn't be watching Line of Duty because his show, Awkward Question Time, goes out on a Sunday night at 9 p.m. and clashes with it. And his viewing figures is halved down to 1.
Oh,
I'm only joking. He gets a few more than that. So anyway, so that's all the nominations for Prat of the Week. Shall we see if we've got any other comments? Oh, apparently Neighbours went the same way.
Yeah, Neighbours did take 40 years to do it.
I stopped watching Neighbours when Kylie Minogue left. So, anyway, so what are my choices? Right, so I've got everybody who watches Line of Duty. Now, normally when people come up with everybody ones, I always, if I fall into the category, I automatically say that doesn't qualify for Prat of the Week because I'm in that category. Okay? But I don't watch Line of Duty. I've never watched Line of Duty. I ain't got a clue what goes on in Line of Duty. So, does anyone else, any other guests watch Line of Duty other than the Socks?
No.
No. So we may have a guest who's become the first to successfully nominate themselves as Prat of the Week. But let's go through the others. Let's go through the others. We've got the handless teenager. He was more unfortunate than being a prat. But if he chopped off his own hand and then complained about not being able to wank, even though he's got a perfectly good other hand, I could understand that. So I do apologise. I can't have the handless teenager as the prat.
oh.
So then we've got the chicken slapper.
Yeah.
Where do I start? Somebody who wants to slap a chicken 135,000 times has got more problems than half the comedians I know.
Yeah.
Chicken slapper or all the people watch Line of Duty?
Chicken slapper gets our vote as well.
That's only because you don't want to be the first guest to actually successfully nominate themselves.
Good point.
I'm highly tempted to go with the Line of Duty one, but I'm not going to. I'm sorry. It's got to be the chicken slapper.
Thank you. Chicken slapper. That's amazing.
Why on earth you'd want to do something that uses 3 times more energy to cook a chicken to a way that isn't actually particularly good, And to go to all that effort and take 8 hours, he's a prat.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
So Lewis Rise is the Blue Suede News Prat of the Week. Shall we see what else has been happening in the news this week?
The good, the bad, and the utterly stupid.
So this is the round where we discuss other things that have happened in the week. If any of our viewers has got any subjects they want us to cover, by all means, put a comment in there. I'll quickly move on to the first subject which I've picked. And this may say the BBC, but actually involves Prince Philip as well. And this is the BBC coverage of the death of Prince Philip has received 109,741 complaints. It's the most complained about item on the BBC ever. Does anyone know what the second most complained about item is?
Did they complain about the fact that they've not called his coffin a jukebox?
Ah!
Oh.
Brilliant. So, I mean, I know when the funeral happens, we'll just talk about Prince Philip a little bit. They've got a Land Rover hearse. And he's actually going to be on this Land Rover hearse, so specially built to his own design. So, anyone else wants to comment about Prince Philip before I cover the story which I'm got lined up?
Well, we did notice that the 112,000 complaints, whatever it was the biggest number of complaints. We also found out that the second highest number of complaints was for Jerry Springer the Opera being shown. Not interesting, but true. 65,000 people complained about that, but they weren't real people. It was an orchestrated campaign. So there you go. Prince Philip, it's what he would have wanted.
So.
Amazing.
Also, they cancelled all of the good programmes except for Paddy McGuinness and I Can See Your Voice. Again, why that qualified as the one thing they would like left on the telly after everything else had been wiped out, I don't know. That's evil from beyond the grave. That is right there.
Yeah, I once got compared to Paddy McGuinness.
What?
I heckled Ross Noble. Right, at a comedy club in Nottingham, I heckled Ross Noble. Somebody had put this little, looked like a rubber duck on the stage, right, during the break. When he came on, he picked up this little rubber duck and he's looking at it and he turns it on. He says, "What's this?" And it had a switch and started buzzing. So I just shouted out, "It's fuck a duck." Right? And he says, he just looked across at me. He says, "That was just like being heckled by Paddy McGuinness." So, all right. Yeah, the BBC coverage of Prince Philip, right? It wasn't just on the TV, right? When I'm doing this show, I look at the BBC website on a regular basis to pick up some of the news stories. And I was struggling at the start of the week. Yeah, after Prince Philip had been, because I start on a Saturday, the main website looked a bit like this for England. We had a statement from Andrew. You can see that Prince Philip's funeral is in the bottom left-hand corner. Duchess's fond memories and laughter with Philip. So, and Duke of Edinburgh award inspired Paralympics and all that. So basically the whole BBC News website for England was about Prince Philip. So I thought, I'll click on regions. I always check my local regions first. So I thought, I'll check Derby. Oh, look. Charles is saying, "Dear Papa was very special." We've also got the story about poppies, which were made in the East Midlands and Prince Philip. And we've got Prince's East Midlands links. Where's the local news? So I thought, oh, well, sod Derby, I'll look at Nottingham. Oh, look, it's Charles again. There's the Poppies again. And there's Prince Philip, used to come to watch cricket. It's absolutely stunning how much non-Prince, the total lack of non-Prince Philip news was dreadful. So, do you think they should have had all this coverage about the Prince Philip?
Yeah, I
What
do.
do you think, Alex?
I think he deserves it. I mean, he's been husband to our monarch for, was it 72 years? That's a long time. And obviously, this news affects not just our generation, but a lot of, 7 generations going back, doesn't it? So it's like people today are probably more interested in hearing about what's going to happen in Line of Duty next, rather than what's happened in like his line of duty, which was the end of his support as the Queen's consort. So it's the event itself was kind of seismic, so you've got to look at it on that scale, because that's what our monarchy represents to our country, whether you're a fan of them or not. This is the news. I think it's important, and but yeah. But I do think, I think showing us those pages, Roger, is a little bit much for all those regions. Like, there isn't much variant in the story there.
Yeah, I think the website people are very lazy.
I think what a lot of people found that it wasn't exactly an unexpected tragedy. If you think back over our lifetime, when we had Princess Di in 1997, that was a tragedy, very unexpected. And then 9/11, just 3 years later, that was a tragedy. It was very unexpected. And we had 1 minute silences for this. In this case, a 99-year-old man died who none of us had met, none of us were related to, and we did a 2-minute silence. I don't think that, as tragedies go, this was not that unexpected. And, he would, and he said this, he would not have actually wanted a big fuss. He wanted to go in a Range Rover. He actually concentrated on the downplaying of the whole thing. He would have been the first person to be on the phone to the BBC complaining.
So, well,
can I just say,
that's
Roger,
very true.
Roger.
So, well, I'll come to you in a second. I just wanted to point out we've had the English view from Alex, we've had the Scottish view from the Sock. We're now over to Wales, and it's Big D.
So I found this very upsetting throughout all this. I was getting the notifications on my phone. I was seeing all the updates online through Facebook and all that. And all I asked people to do is just give me a warning beforehand, a little spoiler warning, because I've only just started watching The Crown and ruined the ending for it now. Bloody ridiculous. But yeah. No, he was a public figure for a long time, and he stood by, old Lizzie for a long time. He is he will be missed by a lot of people, but that's about it really. I think everyone was looking forward to a day off, basically.
Well, we've had this comment in from Gary. He says, God help us, when the Queen dies, I'll be watching DVDs that week, I think.
Of course, with Prince Philip, a lot of people are asking who will handle his roles. It's okay, he parked that in a hedge.
Let's move away from Prince Philip and the BBC, and we will go on to something which is more down my street. Let's talk about caterpillar cakes.
Oh, yes.
Okay, here is a selection of caterpillar cakes. I mean, you might not know, but there's a news story about M&S are actually taking legal action against Aldi over their caterpillar cake. M&S has been producing Colin the Caterpillar cake for about 40 years, and they're now saying Aldi is infringing their trademark with their mine's gone blank, with their
Cuthbert.
Cuthbert the caterpillar cake.
Cuthbert
well
the
done.
caterpillar.
If I did points, you'd have one, but I don't do points because they mean sod all.
Sod all.
So, all right, let's play a little game of see if you can identify the supermarket who made the caterpillar cake.
Oh,
so
good.
if I say Asda, right, we'll go to Big D first, and we'll let you choose the first one. Which one do you think might have been made by Asda?
All right. So we go with the bottom row. We'll go with the orange face.
The orange face. I'm afraid you are wrong. Asda is the first one. Okay. Let's go to the Scottish socks. Do you know which one was made by Tesco's?
Wow, well, we shop mostly at Tesco's, but we don't shop for caterpillar cakes. If we did shop for caterpillar cakes, I wouldn't be shopping for caterpillar cakes with ears on. Ears and a bow tie. What sort of fucking caterpillar is that? So let's just say that that's Tesco, because every little helps, and they've added ears and a bow tie. The one at the far right.
Right, well, Tesco caterpillar is called Curly, and it's the one with the orange face.
That's the rubbishest one. You'd have thought that was the little one, wouldn't you?
Right. Alex.
Yeah.
You've got a choice of two at the bottom here, right? Because if you haven't guessed already, the two at the top are the M&S and Aldi ones.
Yes.
But the bottom ones, which one do you think was made by Morrison's? It's called Morris the caterpillar.
Morris the caterpillar is the one next to the Asda one, I'm guessing. Because I think I've had him before.
You're saying the
one between Asda and Tesco. The yellow face and red nose. No, I got it wrong.
It's wrong on the end.
Oh.
You lot are rubbish at telling your caterpillars apart.
Well, to be honest, I get mine from Marks and Spencer's.
Yeah.
I couldn't see the original.
The one which we haven't identified yet is Waitrose.
Waitrose, that was it.
Okay.
They are in inverse proportion to the stores that they belong to. Waitrose is pretty crappy. Tesco's is crappier. Morrison's is looking pretty stylish now.
Okay, so what we have is the other two. One of them is Marks and Spencer's, and one of them is Aldi. Right? Now, the thing I'll say here is, to me, all the ones at the bottom look quite crap compared to the ones at the top. And the ones at the top do look remarkably like each other.
They do.
So I'll go to each of you. You can have, say, left or right when I come to you. Which one do you think is the Marks and Spencer's one? Scottish socks?
Left.
So one vote for the left. Alex?
The Marks and Spencer one, the one on the right, on the green matting.
Yeah.
Okay, so it's 1-1. Big D?
We're going to go with the one on the right with the green base.
Right. Alex and Big D are right. The Scottish Falsetto Socks are wrong.
We don't know our picks.
There you go. So that's the game of identify your caterpillar is finished. So apparently Gary has said I had it as my lockdown birthday cake to myself this year, right?
Aww.
And Ryan,
a whole Colin the caterpillar for his birthday. Yum.
Yeah. I'll put Brian's comments up in a bit. I've had a joke lined up for this section, so I'll do my joke and then I'll put Brian's joke up on the screen. If Aldi loses, I imagine the next step will be to sell butterfly buns. And here's Brian. Do they turn into butterfly cakes?
Oh.
So think along the same line. So that's for Brian. So
is it Brian the caterpillar from the Magic Roundabout? Is it Brian? Was it Brian? Or was
I
it?
don't know.
What was the caterpillar called from the Magic Roundabout?
Brian was a snail.
Right, it was.
Oh, snail.
Oh, yeah,
Sorry,
snail,
I knew
yeah.
I knew it was a creature.
All right. Gary says left, and I can't believe it's only a quid different. So I imagine the quid's the right way, though. So, all right. So that is the caterpillar cake story. We'll move on to the next story, and I'm just checking the time. We've only got time for one more story, so we'll quickly do this one because I always like a dog grooming story. This one was brought to me by Alex. This is a dog. I'm very good at identifying.
Well done.
So this is before, and I'll show you the after.
Oh, bless.
Alex brought this story to my attention during the week, and this was a dog owned by Miranda Lawler, and she went to collect a dog from the groomers and thought they'd given her the wrong dog back. So, but it's not the first grooming disaster story I've had on. Have any of you had any grooming disasters during lockdown?
No, but I saw that story and thought it was hilarious because obviously I don't know what type of groom she asked them for a dog, but obviously she just must have said, scalp it, more or less.
Well,
It's like
there is a little bit more to this. Apparently, she'd asked her dad to take the dog to the groomers, and the dog told the groomers to take off as much as you can.
The dog or the dad?
The dad.
This is sort of every Facebook post at the moment going on around the world. Everyone's coming out of lockdown. Hairdressers are open again. Everyone's taking photos of the before and after. This is just the pets version.
Yeah. Well, Darren Jones, one of our viewers, says that's not grooming, it's been scalped. I did feature a dog grooming story a few weeks ago, and it did make most of my guests laugh when I showed them the before and after pictures. So I just grabbed that slide, and I thought I'd show to you here. So here's a nice, pretty dog.
Aww.
Shall we see what happened to this dog at the groomers?
I remember. Oh, bless.
Was it the same groomers that went to? They seem to have the same technique going on.
It's the look in her eyes.
It's like where's that razor bean?
Yeah.
Where the clippers have got a little bit too close on that one.
Yeah.
Oh.
I've got to go to the Scottish Falsetto Socks at the moment and just ask them if they've ever found need to use one of those Remington Buzzaway clove shavers.
We're very lucky in that we don't really molt or grow the extra bits that you do. A couple of little bits of fluff, but sellotape usually does the job for us. Unlike you, we could just go in a washing machine and come out defluffed. It's a bonus.
So, yeah, we've had another comment from Brian. He says, "Looks dog rough." Just before we move on to the next round, I just want to remind people that if you're enjoying the show, you can always buy us a coffee at www.buymeacoffee.com/RBSN. Any coffees purchased will be split equally amongst our guests. If you want that link, it is at the beginning of the comments. If you have a look on both Facebook and YouTube, because we're going out on both services. If you're watching on YouTube and you're enjoying the show, please press like and please press subscribe if you're not already a subscriber. It'd be great to have you subscribing to my channel, which is I Can See the Stage from here. And on Facebook, if you're enjoying the show, please press like and follow my comedians page. Thank you very much. So moving on, I think it's time to go to the next round looking at the time.
I predict a riot.
So, this is the round for I Predict a riot, where I'm going to ask each of my guests to. I've messed up my slides, but never mind. I'm going to ask each of my guests to make a prediction about something that's going to happen in the next 12 months. So we've had some weird and wonderful predictions. I usually know if someone tries to predict something twice. So who shall go to first? I think we'll go to Big D first.
Okay, I got a good one for you. So basically, with space travel getting more and more exciting at the moment, I predict in the next 12 months, we're going to have our very first hotel up in space, right? And before you come up with any crap names, it's no Airbnb, okay? It's not going to be like that. It's going to be our first hotel in space that you'll be able to go and stay.
Right, okay.
Yeah.
So basically the first space tourists.
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good.
Space Travel Lodge.
Very
the
good.
Space Travel Lodge, yeah.
No, it'd be Travel Launch.
Travel Launch, yes.
So, okay, Alex, have you got any predictions?
Oh, well, you know me, I always like to predict somebody from the celebrity or famous world who might cark it.
Yeah, but
I did quite well, didn't I, last time at my predictions?
Yeah, can I just mention that Alex is a certified Blue Suede News soothsayer because one of her predictions has come true.
Oh.
So anyway, sorry for interrupting you, Alex. I just wanted to get that out there, seeing you are certified.
I knew that's where you were going, and I was going to try and cue you in, but you know you were rude and you just talked over me. So you know, meh.
Hey, celebrity, and you can't pick me.
You know, you're not a celebrity yet.
Oh,
woo! Sorry.
I like how she said "yeah."
There's still time for Crime Watch. Oh.
There's still time for many things, but is there still going to be time for? I don't know. I do like to try and guess celebrities, people who are people who are well loved. It was funny because I was watching TV and I had a look on the internet the other day and I couldn't see if they were still alive or not. So I had a look. But that woman that plays Dot Cotton, is she still alive? June Brown.
Yeah.
June Brown is still alive.
Yeah, she's still alive because I did a little Google and I thought it doesn't say she's dead, but that woman keeps on going. I mean, she must be like Keith Richards' sister or something. They must have the same genes going through because she smokes like a chimney, and we don't, you know. And she's So I'm going to nominate an actress, June Brown.
She's not already on the list, so we okay.
Is she? And is she not dead yet?
I'll check that. If she's dead, I will be withdrawing your certificate.
No. No.
So, and over to the Scottish Falsetto Socks.
Well, our prediction is that Doctor Who is going to do a Prince Philip, meaning that, you know, in The Crown, Prince Philip is Matt Smith, and then Matt Smith lies down on the floor of the TARDIS, and then he sits up, and in the next series, he's Tobias Wilcox, what's his name? Tobias Smollett? He's Tobias somebody, forgotten his surname. Anyway, he comes back as a different actor, and we think that Jodie Whittaker is going to do that in this series of Doctor Who, which clearly we're the only people who watch, but she's going to drop down dead. But our big prediction is that the successor to Jodie Whittaker will not be announced until you actually see it on screen. Oh, just a guess, and we would like that to be the case.
Okay.
Not funny, not interesting, not necessarily true. No, it's a genuine stab in the dark. But we think that could happen.
Well, I've got it down on my predictions list, so thank you very
another
much.
One for you. The Doctor will actually be played by Gus Kahn. That's our. he's who we would like to take over from Jodie Whittaker.
No, you can only have one. You can only have one. I've noted down your first one.
Well, can't they have one each?
We're going to be wildly wrong. Yeah, I'm guessing Gus Kahn. I'm guessing the new Doctor not revealed until the episode itself.
So let's go. I'm afraid it's time for our last round.
Put a plug in it.
This is the round where my guests can predict, not predict, my guests can.
Yeah.
I've just got to move my script up a bit.
There's
is
a
where
script.
my guests can plug whatever they want. So let's go to the Scottish Falsetto Socks first to plug whatever you want.
Well, as you can probably guess, this costume is suggesting that we're doing a subject for our next show, and that subject is Shakespeare. No, it's not Shakespeare, is it not? No, our show Superheroes is on tomorrow night, the Saturday the 17th at 8 o'clock, and we're over on the Zooms. So if you go to our social media, you'll find our show tomorrow night is Superheroes. And if you can't make it to that one, in 2 weeks' time, we're doing the next episode of Social Club, which is us and some comedians. Again, it's on the Zooms. So go to @Falsetto Socks or find us on Facebook or somewhere, and you will see we're doing these shows, and we'd love to see you there. Thank you.
Fantastic. Big D.
Brilliant. Well, Big D Archer, you can find me on Facebook, Big D Archer Comedian. I am very excited because with us coming out of lockdown now, Hereford is finally going to be opening up their doors again for comedy. We've not got 1, 2, or 3. We're going to have 4 venues, all being well, doing comedy nights. We're going to be inviting everyone down for it. It's going to be great. We're relaunching comedy in Hereford. We've got help from some great promoters, some great venues. And I want to see everyone come down for it. It's going to be amazing.
Sounds brilliant. And Alex?
I'm going to plug Planet Marsh, who I do news and reviews for. So we're a punk rock metal webzine, and we also have a Facebook page. So check us out at planetmosh.com and catch your favourite bands when they're going to be touring again. And their albums that they've done, they have done lots and lots of bands have done so much work during this lockdown. It's been absolutely impressive. So when people say there's no new music out there, you must have been in a cave somewhere, because there is tons of it. So yeah, so come check us out.
It's very good. Before I end the show, we've got a few comments which I'll put on the screen. Lord Sparkles is saying Truth Slayer. So Darren Jones is saying, will you need a COVID passport, Big D? I think he's talking about your space hotel.
Yeah. I like that.
Oh, I thought it meant for you to leave Wales.
Yeah. And Gary G. Phillip says, Premier in space, no one can hear you scream.
Premier in space. Do you see? We see what he's done there. We see what you've done there, Gary.
So before we finish, I'll just plug that I do have a merch shop selling T-shirts, face masks, bags, and you may have noticed my little drink receptacle.
Oh.
Roger's Blue Suede News. It's got a nice bit of rum and coke in here. Cheers. And you can buy mugs and all sorts. So there's the link, and also it's in the comments. Before I finish, I'd just like to say thank you to all my guests. It's been brilliant having you on the show. And, thank you for joining me. And there's only one more thing to say to the viewers. Thank you for watching, and good night.
Thank you.